I'm Hannah Montana.
And I'm Miley Cyrus.
And you're watching Disney Channel.
Welcome back to the Friends in the Wild podcast. I'm sure you all are dumbfounded. You don't even know who you're looking at right now.
Yeah, it's such a shock, I'm sure, that Miley Cyrus and Hannah Montana are hosting your favorite podcast this week.
That we could afford them to come on our podcast.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween week, everyone.
Happy Halloween
week.
Yeah, twins.
Literally.
It's almost like we're the same person.
Almost, but like different.
Yeah.
It's almost like the best of both worlds.
It's giving the best of both worlds.
I am Miley Cyrus. If you can't tell, we need to go through our outfit details. I have my guitar. It's actually my father, Billy Ray's, obviously.
Of course.
I'm going to set that to the side. But don't worry, I'll be playing tunes later.
I was wondering if you could play it, Miley.
Oh, yeah, I can.
You can shred the guitar.
I'm used to shredding the guitar. I've got on my overalls from the farm, of course. Cowgirl hat, chokers, and then my boots.
Love
for, you
it.
know.
Also, I just remembered something. You're actually Miley Stewart.
You're right, I am. Sorry. Oops. But it's just like so hard, you know, when her actual dad's playing.
Yeah.
You get so lost. I mean, she was really just playing her true self. She was
when you're living the best of both worlds, it all gets a little confusing.
It all gets lost in the details. And you are? I know you're trying to keep your identity hid behind those big sunglasses.
Yeah, I'm Hannah Montana. I'm hiding from the paps. You know the vibe. Me and Tyra Banks are fighting over a pair of pumps. Like, just the usual kind of like rock star life that I'm living. And I'm just, what's the song where she says, I'm just an ordinary girl.
Sometimes I'm lazy, I get bored.
Yeah, so that's just kind of like my life,
Yeah.
And I'm here wearing a scarf, some rainbow rhinestone earrings, obviously, some heart-shaped glasses to hide my true identity from the paparazzi, especially that one guy in the movie. What's that guy's name? Do you remember?
I don't remember, no.
He fell out of the tree.
Yeah. I don't remember his name, though.
And I'm just here with my my good friend Miley Stewart in Crawley Corner. Isn't it called Crawley Corners, the little town?
I don't know, but you also need to show your microphone.
Oh, yeah, of course. Just to, really, drive it home that I'm Hannah Montana, a worldwide rock star. I have a little microphone.
And I think that we have executed these outfits very well for day of planning.
I agree. Maybe next year we'll go all out.
Next year, we're having a party.
Yeah.
So subscribe now to our channel if you want an invite to our Halloween party next year.
Yeah, you have to be subscribed before Halloween of 2024 to be invited to our 2025 Halloween party. It's very exclusive.
Very. I think we should also be Hannah Montana and Miley Cyrus every year.
Actually, we totally should. And we should just do different outfits of theirs.
But to the T outfits. They have to be exactly the same.
I agree.
I'm loving this idea. Because right now we're just kind of freestyling it. Yeah. We need to really get down to the nitty gritty.
We could also do Hannah Montana and Lola.
We could. But that would I have brown hair. I have to be Molly.
Yeah, or Lola you could wear a blonde wig and I could wear a Lola wig.
Oh my gosh, one year we need to do total reverse. You can live your nightmare for one evening as a brunette and be Molly.
I'm not spraying my hair brown. I'm too scared to do that. I can wear a brown
wig.
It
might last.
And also I don't have a microphone this week aside from obviously the one on my head because we just had some technical difficulties. Whenever you are really big time podcasters, sometimes it just happens,
It literally just happens.
When you have 40 episodes, something's bound to go wrong.
Yeah, this is our 40th episode. We're 12 episodes away from 1 year, which is crazy.
We really have trouble counting our episodes correctly.
One thing about us is we don't know how long a year is. So Oh, well.
But yeah, we are getting very close to 1 year, and we have some very exciting things. As we always say, we have some very exciting things in the works. So just keep staying tuned.
We've had those very exciting things. They're just, it's the same exciting things. They're just taking a little longer than
Yeah.
hoped for, but that's okay.
In the words of Aspen Ovard, stay very tuned.
Stay very tuned. This week we're doing such a fun episode. We're doing spooky stories to get everyone in the spirit for Halloween, for their Halloween. I'm actually really excited for Halloween. I don't have to work. Maybe I'll give out some candy to some children.
So
I
fun.
don't know. I'll have to go somewhere to where the children will actually come. Nobody comes to my house, but
Of course. Yeah.
I can find some kids somewhere. But I'm excited. And then I have just like a few life updates. Really just one. Tomorrow, we're recording on Monday. Tomorrow I'm going to see Sabrina Carpenter. And I am so beyond excited. Getting the kinks worked out in my outfit, and I'm gonna have to get LG's opinion on it after this ep. But stay tuned for that. I'm so excited. And that's really and I'm on the prowl for a new car. But other than that,
Yeah. The new car search, I need to get. Do you have any update on it? Do you have like something you want?
I've been scouring Facebook Marketplace like a dog.
Yeah.
But I've come to the conclusion that I really don't have the money to get a new car. So it's going to be new to me, not new to the market, and that's completely fine.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited. I only have my rental car for 4 more days,
Wow.
and then I'm
Do you
going to be
like your rental
careless.
car?
Yeah, it's a Kia, which I'm not like crazy about Kias, and it's orange, and I'm not really into that. But
Yeah.
it's got Apple CarPlay, and now that I've
Ooh.
experienced this luxury, it's going to be hard for me to go back to pilgrimage times.
For sure. For
Because
sure.
I drove an '08 Honda Accord, so I mean,
Mhm.
I had an aux cord with an adapter to listen to
Yeah.
my own music. And then I experienced Apple CarPlay, and
You're never
I
going back.
just, yeah. But we'll see. Maybe I'll get at least Bluetooth. It doesn't have to be Apple CarPlay as long as there's Bluetooth.
Yeah. I think you're gonna move up in the world. I'm excited for your new car.
Me too. I just have to find her.
Um, I
Okay.
just spilled my Olipop all over everything. As for me, I had my cousin's wedding and it was so much fun. They're so fun. I love them. Um, really was just a great time. For the first, I will say just a little tidbit about my life and my emotions. I felt like kind of like I was pretty again for the for the first time since I like started law school. You know how you just sometimes you feel pretty and sometimes you feel ugly and sometimes those
Mm-hmm.
long periods of time. Yeah, I did over this weekend. I got to like actually like fully do my makeup and wear pretty dresses and stuff. So it was really nice actually.
I'm glad you feel beautiful again.
Thank you. Finally feel like myself again. But I am excited for Halloween. Would you rather celebrate Halloween when it's on like a Thursday like it is this week? Would you rather celebrate it on the weekend before or the weekend after?
Before. Because to me, Halloween is a holiday. Like, once it's happened, it's happened. Like it's over.
And then it's Christmas.
Literally, I was thinking of the Mariah Carey, like, how everything is like, it's time. That will be me on Friday.
Yeah.
Except, like, not all the way, because I am, like, partial to Thanksgiving because I was born on Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I have
you're
a hard time just jumping straight to Christmas. But the older I get, the more I want. Like, I don't get why all the major holidays have to be within a month of each other.
me neither. Why don't we spread them out a little bit? Why is that like that?
I don't know. It's Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then literally 2 weeks later, it's New Year's.
Yeah.
I don't get why. I think personally, Halloween should be in August, then like Thanksgiving in September, Christmas in December, and then New Year's like like we need to have 2 months in between everything.
I agree.
Why are we rushing it?
Yeah, because it all goes so fast and there's some stuff you can't even fully enjoy because
Yeah.
you're looking forward to the next thing. I agree. But it's also like, because they're so condensed together, it's just extra exciting when they first start coming
That's
along.
true, but if you blink, you miss it.
You're so
The
right.
spring isn't like that. Like, there's New Year's, then February, there's Valentine's Day. Great. Easter's in April. Then there's the 4th of July.
You're right.
Memorial Day weekend. Like, everything's just spaced out very nicely in the spring. The holidays just come and go too quick every year.
You're right, but also like January to April is like seasonal depression
No,
overload.
it's a drag.
It's horrid. And
Like,
also, I feel like January always lasts 15 years.
yes, and I feel incredibly ugly during those months.
Same, 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 same.
So
Great point. Excellent point.
maybe we should
Um,
just omit them altogether.
yeah, let's just let's just have like a 6-month year. How about that?
Maybe if we move to Florida, we could.
Yeah, or California or something.
Somewhere warm.
You know, kind of like Hannah Montana.
Yeah. Lit.
Tennessee girls living in California.
Yeah, stay
It's like
tuned.
Hannah. Actually, just like Miley. I
Yeah.
don't think Hannah had an origin story really. Anyways, I am very excited for Halloween, both of them, the one before and the one after. I think I'm going to a Halloween party for each weekend, so I need more costumes. Ryan's coming this weekend, so we're gonna do something together, but I'm not sure what. We've been thinking, well, I've been thinking and he's been agreeing, that we might do Candace and Jeremy from Phineas and Ferb. Just because it would be like
Me
easy
too.
and fun, and also like I look like Candace kind of because I have a long neck. But
And how does he resemble Ferb?
not Ferb.
Phineas. Phineas. I'm
No,
sorry.
not Jeremy, her boyfriend.
Oh, I was thinking of Phineas's girlfriend. What's her name?
Isabella.
Isabella. That would be more of like me and Colin. She has dark hair, right?
You're right. You're right.
One year, that's what we all should do.
We should be Phineas and Ferb characters, and Isabella's the one who says, "Hey, Phineas, what you doing?"
Doing. Yeah. Candace is the one who has squirrels in her pants. Please.
Stop. The
Please.
TikTok. Yes, I'm going to. I'm going to.
No, you need like a stuffed animal squirrel hanging out of your pants.
Wait, you're so right.
This girl's got some serious squirrels in her pants.
Yes. And then at the end of that song, the guy, this is like so niche, but that guy goes, "What? She had actual squirrels in her pants? I'm going back to medical school."
What does
so
that
funny.
even mean? Not sure.
Anyway, Phineas and Ferb is just hilarious. And I'm also excited for the episode at hand. I think it's going to be really fun. I was reading, trying to find us some spooky stories, and I was getting a little too freaked out. I couldn't continue, so we only have a couple.
Yeah, this is an episode you might want to listen during the day, and then listen to one of our more lighthearted episodes after.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even think they're that creepy. I just like am alone at the moment, so you know.
I am a junkie for a spooky story.
Yeah.
I love true crime, love horror stuff like this. I'm currently watching Monsters on Netflix, and then after that, there is a new movie that just came out with Anna Kendrick in it. Oh, I want to find the name. I started it last night, but it was like a little bit too freaky to watch at like 12 a.m.
Yeah.
And it's about based on a true story of a serial killer that was on a game show, and it is called Woman of the Hour.
Oh no, absolutely not.
So
I have seen that on like TikTok. I will not be watching.
Really?
Even the name, I'm terrified.
I'm excited. I love stuff like this. Are we ready to start? Do you have anything else?
I think so. I want to start with a story that I always heard. This is just kind of like a classic spooky like kids story. And I just think that everybody should have heard it, and I will be happy to be the one to deliver that if you don't mind if I share.
No, I don't mind. And then we have a very special story after that.
Yeah, we have a special story and maybe even a special guest.
Maybe.
Okay, so if you're not familiar with this story, it is called The Girl with the Green Ribbon Around Her Neck, which is, I actually think that I had like a spooky storybook when I was little, and I don't think that was the name, but anyway, same story. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Prepare to be shaken in your boots.
Literally wearing boots, shaking.
Now I'm going to transition into the story with a Hannah Montana transition. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Oh, yeah. A long time ago, there lived a girl who had a dark green ribbon tied around her neck. On her first day of school, the boy sitting behind her, whose name was Jim, noticed it from beneath her blonde hair. "Why are you wearing that green ribbon?" he asked the little girl. She looked at the ground. "Someday, maybe I'll tell you," she said, and turned away. A year later, they became friends, and whilst they were eating lunch, Jim asked again, "Why do you wear that green ribbon?" The little girl laughed awkwardly. "Maybe I'll tell you another time." When they entered high school, Jim asked the girl out, and she soon became his girlfriend. He asked again as they were kissing, "Now, will you tell me why you wear that green ribbon?" he pleaded with her. Maybe if we ever get married, I'll tell you then," she said, biting her lip. Ooh, biting her lip.
Ew.
Jim fell in love with the girl, and 10 years later he proposed. And they got married. In bed their first night, the only thing his new wife wouldn't take off was her green ribbon.
This is getting like PG-13.
I know. Explicit. "Please tell me why you wear that ribbon," Jim begged. "If we ever have kids, I'll tell you then," she replied, averting her gaze. They had 2 children, a boy and a girl, and then Jim asked again, "Now, will you please, please tell me why you wear that green ribbon?" His wife sighed and answered, "Look, if you really love me, please just drop it. One day, I promise I'll tell you why." So Jim dropped it, even though he was dying to know. He just accepted the fact that his wife always wore a green ribbon around her neck. They grew old together, and the woman became very sick. The doctor told Jim she was going to die soon. Jim sat by her bedside for days, distraught, and then he finally said, "Please, as your dying wish, tell me now,
Giving wishes.
why do you always wear that ribbon around your neck?" In a croaky voice, his wife replied, "Okay, I'll tell you." He untied the ribbon from her neck with fumbling fingers. He pulled the bow loose, and her head fell off and rolled on the ground.
I remember hearing that story as a child also. A
That
classic.
was my favorite story, and I think about it so frequently for some reason.
Wonder why. That's kind of an odd thing to think about very
I don't
often.
know. It like has really stuck with me for some reason.
Well, thank you for sharing your childhood horror
Yeah,
story.
I'm glad that I have this platform now to share things like that.
Yes. All right, guys, for our next story, horror story, we are going to welcome a longtime listener, longtime fan, Billy Ray Cyrus.
Stewart.
Billy Ray Stewart, onto the podcast to share his personal experience. You're Billy Ray. Give it up, everybody.
Get in character, please.
My father.
Woohoo!
Come on, Dad. Come on down. Ooh. Stop it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Why?
Best day ever. Thank you so much for being on, Billy Ray.
You got it. Just call me the 80s.
No, what's his song that he sings? Achy Breaky Heart. Can you give us a little cameo?
You can tell my heart, my achy breaky heart. Just don't think you'd understand. Yeah.
My achy breaky heart. Thank you so much.
I'm really impressed, Billy Ray. Thank you for making it.
Everything I know, I learned on the street.
Please say it again.
Everything. I don't have to say.
No, just read, guys. Use your eyes. You have to watch.
Everything I know, I learned on the streets.
All right, guys, I'm going to hand the mic over to my father to tell. This is an actual real story, even though we're being kind of non-serious right now. This is...
Dead serious.
Are you, some might say, serious as a heart attack?
Maybe.
Okay. All right. Here's the mic. You speak your truth.
Okay, here's my story. I was probably about 19, and I was in Myrtle Beach, me and a friend of mine, and he'd stayed at the motel, and I was out, and it was late, like 3 a.m. Nobody was on the street. It was like a ghost town. So I'm walking back, and I hear this car coming up behind me, but so what? It's a car. But this guy pulls up beside of me and slows down, and it's a little hatchback car. So he's staring at me so long that he's actually looking through the hatch glass, staring at me. And I mean, it was like a Jeffrey Dahmer moment. And you know how you just get that bitter taste in your mouth, like something ain't right. So I got that. I was like, this, this ain't normal. And he pulls off to the side of the road. And so across the road, there was a family working on an old car that had broke down. So I just decided to cross the road before I got to where the serial killer was and go talk to them. And I thought, I'll get around some people. So I crossed the road, and you just don't get scared of one person. But this guy, man, he might have been a little old bitty dude that I could have beat up real bad, but he just had that, I'm gonna, kill you and probably put your body parts in the freezer and eat you later kind of guy. And so I crossed the road. I go over to where this family's at, and it's a couple guys out looking at this car, and I'm talking to them. They got the hood up. Well, I watched the serial killer. I watched him drive off. He turns up a parking lot or another street, makes a lap, and I think he's gone. So as soon as he turns up, I just start walking. I'm probably, quarter mile maybe from our motel. I can see the sign. Well, what he does is he just goes to the next street over, turns, and makes a loop and comes back behind me again. And I don't really realize that that's what he's doing. So then, I'm just walking, everything's good. Well, then he comes by me again and pulls over, crosses the road, and or no, he pulls off to the side. Well, when he does, I kind of stop, and I'm going to backtrack toward these guys. Well, he turns up in front of me again. Well, I think he's going to make another lap. So I'm like, well, by the time he makes another lap, I'm going to be jackrabbit out of here. So I'm kind of fast pacing it, headed toward the motel room. Well, instead of him making a lap, he just went up and turned around and come straight back down and was expecting me to be to his right. So when he pulls down, he's looking for traffic to his left. I don't even see him coming through that parking lot. There's cars parked there. So what happens is when he pulls down, he's looking to the left. I am knelt down with my hand on his back bumper, and he don't see me because he's looking the other way for traffic. He's fixing to turn right, so he's looking left. And I just kneel down and have my hand on his bumper. And then when he pulls out, I jump up like a deer and I take off running. Well, I hear him hit the brakes, but by the time he got the car turned around, I was already making the turn headed to our motel room. And then I went in there and I woke my buddy up and I was like, let's go, get this guy. And he was like, I'm not fooling with him. And so we were on the second floor. It scared me so bad that I locked the balcony door at our motel. Yeah, that dude was frightening. I think he was a serial killer. He could have been Jeffrey Dahmer. I've not looked at the timeline, but I'm thinking that there's a possibility.
What was he driving? Do you remember?
Well, it was a little hatchback car, kind of like probably a Honda Civic 84. Yeah.
What did Jeffrey Dahmer drive?
I don't know. I'm getting creep stuff. Are you Googling Jeffrey Dahmer's ride?
Yeah. It looks like she could possibly work for the CIA in that outfit.
With my typing on my laptop.
My wife's shirt is not very flattering on me.
That's Mom's.
What, did you think it was mine?
I thought you were divorced. I thought my mother wasn't in the picture.
Oh my gosh.
What are you talking about?
Wait.
1980s Honda Civic.
No, it was not.
I swear.
Are you serious?
Is it like a hatchback?
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't.
I swear.
No, I'm going to look it up too.
Okay, I'm like.
That ain't funny, man.
It didn't pull up anything.
It's fixing to have nightmares.
Oh, that was a good lie, LG.
That was a good lie. Congratulations on your lie.
I don't think he has a famous car like Ted Bundy did.
That is what possibly he drove?
Can you identify the
Oh my
vehicle?
gosh. No, he did drive a hatchback.
Oh, that was it.
This one? This
Yeah,
one?
that one right there. Oh.
Toyota Corolla.
Oh.
Are you being serious?
Right there. That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll screenshot it and share.
I'm not kidding. I'm telling you, I come in contact with him.
I'm terrified.
No, what if you actually did?
Look, whoever that guy was not normal.
No, my stomach hurts already.
Every time Dad tells that story, I get the heebie-jeebies.
I know, I've heard it before too, and I always forget though that you knelt down right behind his car.
My hand was on his bumper.
That's terrifying.
The fact that I feel like as a girl I get creeped out over a lot, but for you to sit here and say this stuff, I'm like, holy cow, it had to be real if it scared you.
Yeah, all these years later.
Yeah.
All these hundreds and hundreds of years later.
I mean, look at his hair. Surprised he still has some. Also, speak your truth. Is this hair real?
I had hair that kind of looked like this when
all this happened.
Okay, now tell the story about Addison.
What about Addison?
Getting scared in her car.
Well, I wasn't there for that.
It's still funny.
Yeah, she was coming home from church one evening, and I mean, she was terrified, almost in tears. And when she had got to the top of the mountain, there's no phone signal there. I can see where a young girl kind of get a little timid,
No, it's freaky driving to church. There's no cell service at all.
For
You're in the middle,
5 minutes.
on top of a mountain.
For 5 minutes.
If you're going across the mountain and stuff.
Anyway, so she's probably 17, coming across the mountain, and she goes into a panic because there's someone in the back seat of her car. And she lets out a scream because she looks in the mirror and she sees this person. She lets out a scream. Well, after she comes to she comes to the realization that she's fixing to get kidnapped, she realizes that it was her own forehead that she saw in the mirror.
Oh, and you know what? I've done that.
I too.
Seeing myself in the mirror, I'm like, oh. I'm just so terrifying to see.
I wouldn't blame you. I'd probably be scared if I saw you.
But didn't she have to stop?
Yeah, she stopped.
And she was crying.
Yeah. She was done. She had already given up. I mean, there was no fight in the
battle was over.
She immediately pulls over.
Yeah, just pull over and say, okay, I surrender. And it was her own forehead.
Her forehead's so big, she's not even going to fight.
Noticed or not. It's hereditary.
No, I have a hat on.
It's obviously, when you look at Miley's forehead. Forward. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Thank you so much, Billy Ray, for showing up and telling your side. Anyways, we would like to thank my dad for coming on and sharing his side of his horrific serial killer story.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Billy Ray.
Okay, next you share a story.
Okay. So, I found a few on the interweb, maybe some paranormal encounters. You ready?
Yep.
This one relates to your career.
Ooh. Spooky every day.
Yep. I went to the hospital for just under a month, and while I was there, my nurses joked that I was on the haunted floor. They repeatedly got alarms and saw movement in my room while I was sleeping. It got to the point they had to turn off some of the alarms as they kept waking me up. Things started almost immediately when I got home. I was getting out of the car, and my mother and I clearly heard someone shout my name when I stumbled. Then, when I was helped into bed, there were these sounds that we couldn't figure out where they were coming from. We checked everywhere until we kind of just gave up. Then that night, my blanket and shirt were pulled so hard I actually turned on my side, and I had a seizure just a few moments later. Then finally, yesterday, I got out of bed alone only to collapse. My head felt fuzzy and I was incredibly exhausted and out of breath. There was no way that I would have been able to call for help, but it happened so fast. But then my family literally came running into my room. They didn't hear me fall, but they were adamant that they heard someone scream their names from this part of the house. They first thought it was one of them, but then quickly realized it wasn't. Asked me if I yelled, and I knew it wasn't me. Mom said someone had screamed her name, my dad's name, and my sister's name back to back like they were being gutted. She was adamant that it sounded like someone was being murdered. Then there was a response to this. Okay, that I thought was even spookier. This person said, I lived in a home where the previous owner and their family presented themselves at times when we needed help. Only one of them was not so nice. For instance, in the room we made the guest bedroom, and Aunt Rose used to reside in that room. We would have guests say to Mom, How did you know we were cold? It was so kind of you to cover us up with a blanket at the foot of the bed. It was never Mom, but Aunt Rose who would cover the guest up. We would leave for the grocery store and would return to a dark house. Mom would say, I forgot to leave the lights on before we left for the store. Like magic, lights in the kitchen would turn on. If we were already upstairs for the night, Mom would yell out, I forgot to turn the lights off downstairs. The lights were on a dimmer switch that had to be turned off. Okay. Each incident you described, it sounds as if whomever followed you home is there watching over you. My guess is a former nurse still doing her job. You had a seizure just after being rolled over on your side. A nurse would know to roll a patient onto their side during a seizure just in case the patient vomits. On your back and having a seizure, a patient could choke on their vomit. You fell, and whatever followed you home called out for your family members so they could assist you back into bed. While in the hospital, your alarms kept going off, keeping you awake. Again, that sounds like a nurse doing her job, intervening with good intentions. My own mother saw spirit nurses while in the hospital following a massive stroke. She was in and out of consciousness for the first 24 hours. I sat with her that entire time. More than one occasion in the middle of the night, I would hear Mom thanking someone. I would lay there faking sleep, knowing that if Mom was seeing spirits, they would disappear if they were aware that I was aware of them. I quietly journaled my mother's ghostly visitors. I knew when a nurse had been in because Mom was aware that I was aware. She'd say to me, that nurse, she was so kind. She took my vitals and told me I was going to be okay. I'd ask Mom to describe them. She described women of a different era. She described one as having long dark hair, which in 2008 not many women had long hair like she described. It reminded me more like a nurse from decades ago, even down to the uniform she wore. So to me, I gather that you have a nurse who's just doing her job and felt compelled to follow you home till your health improves. You can ignore her and she will eventually move on. You can thank her for taking care of you. If she's still lingering after you recover to a point that you no longer need a watchful eye looking over you, you may simply ask her to leave. A respectful spirit leaves where it's not wanted. They don't like to intrude. That's kind of sweet.
It is a sweet ghost story or spirit story, but I'm just so unsettled by all things that topic.
Me too. I would be asking them to leave immediately.
And also, I don't want to be a nurse in my spirit. Like, I'm done.
In the afterlife, you're choosing a different career.
I'm not coming back as private duty nurse, not bad. That's not a bad gig, taking care of one person at home, but I don't want to do it. I'm throwing in the towel in this life. In the next life, I want to be like a princess.
You're retiring as soon as possible, and you will not be going back to it after you die.
Exactly. All right, the next story we got from one of our faithful listeners. So, okay. It was sophomore year, and me and my friend were bored at her house and brought out a Ouija board. Of course, this sounds like a recipe for disaster, and it was.
Yeah.
First of all, we don't mess with it. We don't think about it. We're not doing it, okay?
I'm terrified. We'll never touch one. Never want one in my home.
No. So the story begins. We are in our basement. The setup is a stairwell that leads into a large room, but you can't see the top of the stairs while in the basement due to a wall. We are on the phone with who knows who, and we were playing with this board. Even though it was not smart to play with it to begin with, we did know how to use it. I think she may have meant didn't know how to use it, but
either way.
All of a sudden, the call we were on goes out. They can't hear us, we can't hear them. And in the midst of us talking and laughing, we hear a woman's voice at the top of the stairs. We freeze, look at each other, say goodbye on the board, and just stare at each other. Of course, after we recollect ourselves, I'm like, okay, that was obviously your mom. So we call her. No answer. We call again, and my friend is like, are you awake? And her mom replies, I am now. So now we freak, obviously. Keep in mind this was 3 or 4 a.m. Absolutely not.
No.
I'm not doing it. I'm so sorry. No.
I have a pit in my stomach.
I know. Like, even I'm scared that if I even talk about it.
Same. I honestly kind of wanted to do this episode not at my home because I don't want to invite this, even say these things.
We need everyone. Everyone means everyone to know that we believe in Jesus Christ our Lord and Savior.
Seriously, we revoke you in the name of Jesus.
Literally. That's how anytime I'm asked about ghosts or spirits, I'm like, honestly, I'm so scared that I try not to even think about it.
Yeah.
And then when I do, I always think, I believe in Jesus Christ.
I think that do you believe in ghosts? What would you say?
Why are you asking me this? I just said I didn't like talking about it.
Okay.
No, I will. I mean, not to get biblical, but I believe in the Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
And his spirit.
Yeah.
Therefore, yeah.
And the Bible says, test the spirits and see if they are good and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not testing anything, though. No test.
TBH, yes, I do. However, I do think that, again, this is a little theological. I think that, this is kind of crazy, actually, to talk about on our podcast.
I've never actually admitted that I believe in.
I have. I believe in ghosts. I have no interest in knowing anything about them, but I think I do believe in them.
Yeah. Same.
Anyway, so continuing.
Anyways, I will be praying extra hard tonight.
Yeah, burning
the one Holy Ghost I know.
Yeah. Anyway. I'm scared.
But yeah, no, I do. I just try not to linger on it.
No, I don't want to ever think about it in my life. I never want an encounter. Just so all the ghosts listening know, I don't want to see you. I promise.
No.
I like you. Sure.
Love you. Love you.
Don't mess with me.
But love you from afar.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe in you. That should be enough. Okay? Okay. So, here's my next story. So, growing up, I spent nearly every weekend at my grandparents' house. It was always such a warm and loving place, but there was something about it that creeped me out a bit, especially at night. Some of the rooms gave off this weird vibe, even during the day. There are two particular experiences that I had when I was younger. The first one happened when I was about 6. I was staying in my usual room, which had these old sliding wardrobes with noisy metal and glass doors. They always made this screeching sound when opened or closed, and I'd gotten used to it. One morning at around 6 or 7 a.m., I was half asleep and heard that familiar screech. I thought my grandma was putting clothes away, so I casually glanced at the wardrobe. What I saw next completely freaked me out. Two bony... I don't know if I can finish this story. I'm so scared.
Well, now you have to.
Two bony gray hands with long nails were pulling the wardrobe shut from the inside. I was so scared I jumped out of bed and ran downstairs. My grandpa checked the wardrobe but found nothing unusual. But years later, after my grandpa passed away... Oh, I have chills. Oh my gosh. My grandma told me that he had noticed some of the clothes were moved and a few had fallen off the hangers. Like someone or something had been hiding in there.
No. Immediately no.
No, I'm unsettled. I'm deeply unsettled right now. I don't like...
It's giving the boy who lived in the walls.
Stop.
My biggest fear.
No, okay, we're just gonna keep going.
Keep trucking, moving along quickly.
The second thing that happened when I was about 13. I was coming down the stairs at my grandparents' house when I felt a bit weird, kind of uneasy, like how I feel right now. I glanced over the banister and saw an old woman slowly walking toward the sitting room. In my half-asleep state, I thought it was my grandma. I called out, but she didn't respond, so I went into the sitting room to talk to her. But when I got there, the room was empty. I looked around the house, but couldn't find her anywhere. I eventually went outside and saw her way down in the garden picking apples. The garden was massive, and unless she had somehow sprinted down there and filled a bucket with apples in a couple of minutes, there's no way she could have been in the house. When I asked if she had just been inside, she said she'd been in the garden for over an hour. I was so confused and honestly a little spooked. Even now, these stories still freak me out when I think about them. If someone else told me this stuff, I'd probably think they were exaggerating. But having lived through it, I just can't shake how weird it was.
No. At least your grandma was in the garden picking apples. That's cute. I was at the produce today and I saw this old man picking apples out and it made me want to cry.
Yeah.
So, Just trying to change the subject to anything other than that. Thank you.
Honestly, like I'm doing one more story, and then we're gonna end the episode on a lighthearted note because like I'm terrified.
Wait, I have stories.
Oh, okay, perfect. Oh,
Yeah.
actually, worse.
I'm like, oh, don't worry. You stick around.
Okay.
Okay. And these are true, we know the people. Okay?
Oh.
I was about 12 years old and had went to my friends for a sleepover. Around 2 a.m., I started feeling sick and decided to walk home a half-mile away. My friend and I walked to the door, and as I stepped out, I noticed two very tall images, 7 foot or so, and they seemed to glow. I was speechless. Needless to say, I didn't walk home. We talked about it the next morning, but never again until 20 years later. My friend asked me if I remembered. How could I forget? I would have dismissed it as nothing more than a young kid's imagination, except for the fact that I had someone with me. So, this person actually told me the story in real life, and when it happened, they didn't say anything to each other. And recently, the friend was like, hey, do you remember when that happened? And he was like, yeah. They had never talked about it until then. Yeah.
No.
Oh,
No.
no.
Why is
Oh,
everything so scary?
Oh, no.
Suddenly I'm scared to continue my life.
Do you only have one story left?
Yes.
Okay, let me read this next one, and then you read yours, and then I have a personal one.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Okay. I grew up in a very unique area. It was an abandoned town with many old buildings, none of which were used. There was no electricity or water. We frequently played in the old buildings, including a once extravagant 4-story hotel. One day, my friends and I were walking through the backyard of the hotel when we heard music. This was very odd because very few people lived close and fewer visited the place. But the really odd thing was in the 3rd floor open window of the hotel was an old radio playing music. An electric radio. Needless to say, playtime was over. No. Literally a rundown building that does not have electricity. An electric radio playing music. No. I'm so sorry.
I am terrified.
Mm-mm. No.
Honestly, I have no reactions to these stories because I just want them to like not be true. I'm
I want the story to be over, actually.
so freaked. I want this episode to be over, honestly. I'm such a scaredy cat. I can't take this stuff.
Music also.
No.
Mm-mm. If I heard music.
When I'm like, even if I'm like, it's late at night and I'm scrolling on TikTok and I come across like the yo,
The ocean.
I'm too scared.
Swipe on. Gotta find the Domingo song.
Seriously. I want to hear Domingo, not this junk.
Mm-mm.
Okay, you ready for my last one? Okay, this one's titled My Imaginary Childhood Friend.
No.
To preface this, I had a cousin who died before I was born. He was just a toddler when he died, killed by a car while he was playing outside. I'm actually named after him, the female version of his name. He always told my mom he was so excited to meet the babies, me and my twin. He died about 2 months before we were born.
Oh my gosh. Is the story over?
Oh, yep,
That's enough.
Have you heard about all the stuff that happened in town today?
No.
You haven't?
No.
There were like 5 or 6 wrecks in town. Like, it's the craziest thing.
No. I heard helicopters, and Dad said that people were like life starred out.
Yeah, two different instances where people were life starred out. A jogger was hit in town and is like still unidentified, I think.
Oh
It's a good day to do spooky stories because, like, I mean, seriously,
in the air.
Happening.
Oh, I'll be staying home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, back to my story. When we were little, we both had the same imaginary friend. I think this is. Yeah, I'm assuming this is her and her twin had the same imaginary friend. I'll call him Alex. So my twin and I never knew about Alex. Wait, what? Okay, I guess her and her twin had the same imaginary friend. She'll call him Alex. But then Alex is also our cousin. Okay. I'll call him Alex. So my twin and I never knew about Alex. There were no photos of him around our house until we got older. I do not remember playing with him, so these are all the stories I was told in middle school by my parents and family members. My mom said that one day my sister and I were playing, and my mom came into the room, and we were talking into thin air. But when my mom asked what we were doing, we said we were talking to Alex. She was confused and honestly stunned, so she had us repeat the name. His actual name is not common at all, and therefore we would have never met someone with this name or even heard the name before. She asked us to describe him, and we continued to describe our cousin to a T. She then showed us a picture, and we confirmed that that was our friend. She says that we continued to play with him for multiple years, and every time we would tell her what he was saying and how he loved us. Because I don't remember, I really can't give you guys too much detail, but all I know is that I have always felt a strong connection to him, like when I would see a photo of him or hear stories of him, even when I was older, before I knew that he was my imaginary friend. My mom said it low-key creeped her out because there was no way sorry, I have to go to the next page. There was no way we would have known what he looks like or his name, since it was a hard loss in my family, and even today, over 20 years later, it's rarely spoken about. Honestly, when I had never believed in ghosts until I was told this in middle school, and that's when I started believing maybe they do exist. And it has since brought me comfort to know that my cousin still got to meet us and he was looking out for us. The end.
I love how you picked all wholesome stories.
I know, but they're still
The only way you could bear to do this episode is if they
seriously, like
peace.
I can't do, like I hate scary stuff. I cannot do it.
Yeah. That's sweet. I mean, it's obviously like freaky, but or you've seen like the videos of kids and their mom and dad will be like, "Who are you talking to?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm talking to Grandpa."
Yeah.
Grandpa's been dead for
Yeah.
5 years.
They never knew Grandpa. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
think that
that's
kind of happens a lot. Like the kid like is talking about someone that died before they were born.
Yeah.
It's honestly kind of sweet. I mean, it's terrifying, and I don't want my children to do it, but
My kids won't, but it's cute for your kid.
good for you guys.
Okay, last little story tidbit is a personal story of mine. So whenever I moved to college, I moved to Tennessee Tech, like 3 hours from where we lived, completely by myself. I didn't have a roommate. I lived alone. I knew Colin's sister lived up there, but she moved home very shortly after I moved up there. So I was at school, and all of a sudden we're hearing this rumors that there's a stalker on campus and that the police are having to like escort girls to their cars after the library closes and all this stuff. So the rumor mill gets going, and we find out this guy, his name was Paul. I'm gonna name drop first and last. And he had been literally kicked out of, my parents hate when I say that, kicked out of 7 universities. He had been sent to jail for stalking a girl at MTSU. He like stalked her, just her, consistently for a while, and she had gone to the police, and he followed her into the bathroom one day and threatened to kill her if she did not stop. So he got kicked out, obviously.
Yeah, makes sense.
He made his way to Tennessee Tech, and I had like, his mugshot had been circulating and stuff. And one day I was sitting at the library by myself, and a guy comes and sits behind me, and sure enough, it's him. And this man, I saw him multiple occasions, would sit and stare at you and just watch you. It was the most gut-wrenching like feeling. I was like so uneasy because where I lived, there was a sidewalk right by my window that led right into my apartment. I just knew he had like seen me pull in, seen me get out of my car, get in. But I mean, he would just sit and stare at girls all the time, and it was just ugh. One day, I was studying with my friend Emily. Hey, Emily, if you're listening. I was studying with Emily, and we were like kind of about to wrap up our study session, and Emily had to go use the bathroom. And Paul was at the library, and I'd already seen him, spotted him out. Whenever he would look at me, I would give him disgusted looks. That's one of my favorite things to do is when people get on my nerves, I love to look at them like they're the worst person ever. And
He might be.
so I do not know what possessed me to video this, but Emily was getting up to go use the bathroom, and she had to like turn a corner and go behind a wall where I couldn't see her. And for some reason, I start recording because I was like, okay, Emily's going to the bathroom and Paul's here. So I started recording. And then, sure enough, when Emily turned the corner, Paul got up and started walking towards her. And in the video, I go, oh my gosh, he just got up. And I obviously stopped recording. And I got up and I went to go to the bathroom because he was following her. And as soon as I get to the corner to turn it, Emily comes around and she's like, oh my gosh, Melly, he followed me. I was like, we're leaving right this second. So we just walked right over, got our books, and we left immediately.
So did she not go to the
She didn't even
bathroom?
go to the bathroom. She noticed that he had followed her and didn't even go in.
Oh.
Thank God. So yeah. And like I would see him driving in his car, like stopped at a red light. Oh my gosh. Ugh. The worst feeling ever.
Oh, I'm sick.
So,
I'm sick.
yeah.
Here's my question about this. Why do they keep letting this man go to more public universities?
That was my thing. Like, why are we escorting girls to their car when we could escort this man to the penitentiary?
Seriously.
Like, I don't get it. But
Escort this man to the penitentiary and leave the
please,
girls alone.
begging. But I'll see if I can find that video and maybe I'll share it. Maybe I'll plaster his face.
No, he'll come after you or something.
Yeah, for real, I'm scared. Luckily I live with my mommy and daddy now.
Yeah. Oh,
But yeah, that was my personal experience, unfortunately.
terrifying.
Yes. But anyways, we hope that you all have enjoyed this episode. Hopefully you can get some rest tonight. Hopefully you don't have the heebie-jeebies too
Yeah.
bad.
I will not be resting tonight.
You know what has helped me?
Hmm?
Our outfits. That's helped me through this
So
episode.
true. That's really like put a very light-hearted mood on this terrifying episode.
I did enjoy it. Like, it's kind of like, I don't know, sometimes I like to feel a little uneasy.
Not me. I like to feel easy all the time.
Oh, do you have anything else you need to share with the group?
I don't think so. I'm just gonna like turn on some Phineas and Ferb or maybe some Hannah Montana, and try to forget everything I just heard.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see you all next week. Something I'm sure, hopefully, not as terrifying, but yet to be determined.
We might do engagement stories, which are just as terrifying.
Literally just as
Death sentences.
Actually, spooky stories next week, guys. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
The walk in the park.
Double dipping.
We hope that you all have the best Halloween you've ever had. Please stay safe in all your endeavors and eat lots of candy. We'll see you next week, okay?
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween. See ya. Love ya. Bye.
Bye.